Welcome to another episode of Face to Face. Today, we're very pleased to be talking to Avril Baynes. She is recently become the general manager of the Mindil Beach Casino and Resort in Darwin, Australia. And I guess the first question is, can you please kind of introduce yourself a little bit? How is it that you rose to this position, and where is it that what was your background coming to this position?
Sure. I'd love to take you through that, Mike. So I guess probably one of the things I'm most well known for is I'm a 30-year Territorian. So I have lived both in the southern region of the Northern Territory, down in Alice Springs, and also up here in the top end being Darwin. So by profession, I'm actually a lawyer. I was an industrial relations lawyer, but I have a hospitality background. So after leaving university, I actually went and joined ITT Sheraton as part of their trainee group in food and beverage. And that sort of sparked my interest in hospitality.
Well, maybe some people who are listening to this have gotten out to Darwin to check out the property at various times, but we're kind of Asia-wide service. So for those who don't know your property very well, how can you kind of give us an introduction to what it is and what's on the facility?
Certainly. So Mindil Beach Casino Resort is an integrated casino resort. So we have a 4-star hotel with 120 rooms, and we have a 5-star resort that has 32 rooms and two magnificent, what we call Mindil suites. Across the property, we have around about 600 EGMs, and we have a large table game component to our property as well, with Baccarat being one of our most popular games, having a lot of Asian residents in Darwin there. We also have 4 restaurants, 4 bars. We have a beautiful, what we call a concert lawn area. So a lot of outdoor events, particularly during the dry season, are held here on property. So we host gala balls, awards dinners, trade shows, local recreational shows such as boat shows. It really is Darwin's leading entertainment destination. It's a bit of a one-stop shop.
In the pre-COVID times, what was your normal sort of customer base looking like? I mean, how much of it was international travel, and where were these customers coming from?
So we're the gateway to Asia. So we get a lot of travel between Indonesia and Darwin, Singapore and Darwin, and we had most recently set up some travel between China and Darwin. So we had China Southern that were flying to Darwin twice a week. No doubt that'll be a long time before that route looks at being restored. But so Asian market was quite strong, and we also have a high Asian population here. So there's that travel of visiting friends and relatives. Obviously a very strong local market. And then we also have good visitation from some of the southern states. Victoria, New South Wales and Brisbane are our most significant visitation drivers.
Well, it sounds like in the near to medium term, you're really looking to ramp up the internal interstate Australian visitor base. Is that correct for me to assume that?
Yes, absolutely, because that's where the opportunity really lies for us. And I think something that we're really understanding now is that since COVID has struck, people's key drivers in selecting places to go for holidays have changed. They used to be very much driven by location and price, and now safety is very high in people's lists. They want to go somewhere that's safe. And as I said before, Northern Territory has not had one local case of COVID. So every other state and territory in Australia has had at least a few cases. So when it comes to safety, we're right at the top of the list. And Mindil Beach Casino as a property with its Play It Safe program certainly is well recognised for its best practice when it comes to safety.
Well, as somebody, I guess, who started there at the Human Resources Department, what kind of training and sort of personnel policies have been necessary over the past year as COVID hit?
Yes, well, of course, it's significant that we have our employees completely trained and aware in our practices around COVID. for their safety first and foremost, but also for guest safety. So prior to any of our employees being returned to work, they were put through a training program, and that training program was part of the Delaware North Play It Safe, and that covered off on different sorts of things such as recognising symptoms, not only in yourself but in other people, how to sanitise properly, the hygiene protocols that are around it, and also giving them a briefing of the hygiene protocols across the whole site, so that if we have a guest who would ask or was unsure about what we were doing, all our employees would be fully briefed to be able to give them the information that they needed.
And in terms of the casino floor and sort of technology issues, has there been any change in the way that you approach the technology of casinos, or are you changing the way that you deal with suppliers as a result of COVID?
But I'll touch on the suppliers first. So we have contact tracing requirements here. So all of our suppliers are now required to scan in and scan out. We also have agreements with them around their duty to notify us and us to them if there's anybody who comes down with any symptoms. So that's how we've been handling the suppliers. As far as technology goes, look, we haven't had too many things that have changed in that space. We've had to introduce some new technology to cater for things such as the contact tracing, because we were required to hold people's details for 28 days. So we've implemented QR codes and software and back of house technology to accommodate that in that space. How we run promotions is a little bit different, whereas before we would perhaps produce tickets that were then placed in a barrel. It's all done virtually now, so that we're not having unnecessary touch points in that space. Across our gaming offering, we have Perspex screens in between each of our EGMs to give people that protection there. Where it hasn't been possible to do that, and we've actually salt and peppered the machines. So there'll be one machine on, one machine off. And table games is a little bit different. So we've had to manage that with reducing the number of people who can actually be seated at a table at any one time. And also, if necessary to manage crowds, we stagger the tables that we have open as well.
Okay. And for what's probably my final question, looking forward, into the future, maybe even beyond the COVID future, depending on how that plays out. What are kind of your goals for the property and for the development of the Mindil Beach facility?
Sure. Well, this first priority for me is really to build on the strong foundation that Delaware North started when it first purchased the casino back in April 2019. Unfortunately, we didn't get even 12 months into that ownership before COVID hit. So we'd certainly laid down the groundwork there. So just need to build on that a bit more, strengthen our community presence again. The community certainly has felt the fact that we've been closed. It is one of their preferred outlets to go to. So we know that, and we understand the importance we play in there. So we'll be engaging with the community as well and talking to them, asking them what they would like to see Mindil Beach Casino Resort be.